Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching. Before you do anything else, like, subscribe, activate the notifications. I feel like I haven't done a drawing slash painting tutorial in a while, and I'm a huge fan of Fauvism, and I'm especially a fan of Matisse, the French Fauvist painter, and I'm a huge fan of these Taschen books. I hope that one day my paintings are in a Taschen book. I'm putting that out today. One day I will be Ramon Carrasco. And then all my paintings. Today I'm going to show you how to draw the dance, or la danse in French, and there's two versions, and the one we're doing is this one. I'll place an image here, that way you can get a better idea of what it looks like. The image suggests clockwise movement. It emphasizes irregular energy in the dance. Obviously they're all in the nude, done in a way that it's not obscene, and I don't know, it's almost childlike done in a way, you know? And I think that's what I enjoy about Matisse's work, is that there's no clear definition. It's all about color and movement. If your emphasis is in color and movement, then skill is not that much of an issue here, you know? So you can have any type of skill. You can recreate a Matisse and do your own spin on it. I'm going to do my own spin on mine. But I do love ability, or this quality I should say, about his work, where it's like, hey, I can do that. Versus like a Rembrandt, I could never say that I could do that, or a Van Eyck, I could never say, hey, I could do that, because there's a certain level of skill required for a Van Eyck. So I've already done some preliminary lines, just so I don't mess up, because it's very hard to draw like this. I'm also missing a light I broke, so you might see his shadow. So I don't know how effective this tutorial is going to be. I have like a huge bucket of Sharpies, and I never throw them away even when they go bad, because I feel one day I'm going to need a Sharpie that doesn't work that well to create a certain effect. Well, that day hasn't got in here, and I still haven't thrown these away. So I don't know if this works, but anyway, we are going to start with, I guess we'll start from the left to the right. You'll do kind of like a parentheses. And then right about here is it. I was going to say the nose, but the knee. So then the buttocks, another parentheses, but slanted down. And then the back of the thigh, this part of your leg. I don't like to wear shorts because I feel like when I wear shorts, this part sweats a lot, and that really bugs me. And then you bring this in, and then right here you're going to do like a 7 for the foot. Bring this line down, and then add the toes. This one only has 4 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not even atomically correct. Oops. The good thing about this, there's really no messing up, because it's all going to be about your movement you're creating and the color and the shape, and there's really no wrong shape as long as it looks organic. The other buttocks, you want to give them an implant, go for it. The other leg, here's like the knee, so you come down the back of the calf, and you go small as you go down. And then his heel, well, I mean, it could be a girl, it doesn't matter, his or her heel. The foot, it's almost like the top of a heart. And then it runs off the paper. The lower back, the back, and the spine. Directly above this will go up for the arm, the bicep, the underarm right here. And then these lines will be smaller because it's forced perspective. The further out you go, the smaller it gets. Like my hand here is smaller. If I were to put it over here, it's bigger. Forced perspective. So he's grasping this person's arm. So this is a hand, and then you'll just make 4 lines for the fingers, because then the thumb's underneath. And then go in so you have a skinny or thin wrist, and then connect this line to that. Oops. I wanted to curve. Now, their neck, the hair. This one has short hair, but if you want to give it long hair, by all means, the shoulder. So this is his bicep. Then connect this line to here. Oh, and I need a face. And then forearm, bottom. Here's the hand. I feel like since this hand is closest to us, it's a lot bigger, but even the proportion is not like right. So let's just give the illusion of the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, there are 5 visible lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's go to this arm. So he's grasping this arm, and then there's part of the fingers coming out through here, and his has only 3 showing. And then curve that in so it does that effect. And they're hunching down, so it almost looks like they're hunchback almost. So this will be like the back, but the paper cuts off. But here's the hair. If you want to change the hair, by all means. Here's like the brow bone. And then the head. The bust. With the bosom. The shoulder. The arm. This one doesn't have lines for the fingers. And this one almost looks pregnant, or they are bloated. Or they're just hunched down. When I hunch down, my belly totally pops out. Leg. Back. You stop here because the knees to go in a little bit, this way, and then pelvis, thigh, knee, leg. There's a hand right here covering this part of his leg, the rest, and then this leg is behind that one. So we'll do the hand first. This one has all 5 fingers nicely drawn. 1, that's a thumb, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That doesn't look very nice, but it's all about color. Arm. Now we can finish his leg. Or if I'm going too fast, if you're actually following the steps, you can always pause it or slow me down under your settings. Foot. Oopsie. And then this one comes behind this hand, and it's behind there. So his foot is actually somewhere back here. Now this body right here, they have long hair. Oops. Like I said, you can make the hair however you want. And the arm comes through here. You bring this down until you get to the leg. I think I'm gonna run out of room. Buttocks, thigh, leg. Yep. Buttocks, back, thigh, leg, foot. Thigh, leg, knee, calf, foot. So see, it's almost very childlike. It doesn't have to be precise in any way. Arm. And then we'll put in the heel. Right there. 3, we have 2 to go, and then we're done. It's super easy. Eyebrow, eye, head. And then the hair. I'm running out of space. But it looks something like that. And then the nose. And then there's the mouth. And they're holding hands. Chest. Oops. Arm. Holding hands with this one. Go to the back. Leg. And then the foot. knee, thigh, calf, foot. Okay, so they're holding hands here, over here. This is really distorted here. So this is supposed to be a hand. Then there's a hair. Here's a shoulder, arm. Holding with this one. Now this is an exaggerated arm. Arms are not that long. Yeah, that's intense. Buttocks, leg, foot, toes, other leg, foot, chest, face, and then the heel. This is interesting. So this will be heel, green. Oh, this one does have toes. So there you have it, the Danse by Henri Matisse. When was there's actually two versions of this one. It was painted in 1909. Both of them were. I actually saw, I forget which version I saw, but they're actually very large. And they're very impactful once you see them in person. I'm going to start with some yellow watercolor for the bodies and the green. Not in the blue because I want this to be blue, blue, blue. And if you get yellow there, then you're going to get some sort of green. So I'll be back with the yellow. So I've added some yellowish orange. When I paint acrylic, I love to layer the color and layer and layer and layer. When you're painting on watercolor paper, you really can't do that because the more you pass through and the more brush strokes you make, the more it damages the paper. So here it's harder to layer the color, but I'm still going to attempt at it. Once I'm done with the watercolor, I'll add acrylic, and then once I feel like the acrylic kind of seals it, so then I can add more and layer more once I have an acrylic coating over it. So now I've added some blue watercolor. Now I'm going to go with the green watercolor for the little mound there. So now I'm starting to add some green. This green was very translucent, so I'm going to add another layer with the darker watercolor before I move on to the acrylic. So now I'm adding the acrylics blue and green, but I'm doing it on a table because I didn't want the paint to drip, especially the blue. So I'm back at the easel because I do want the green to drip, but I didn't want that with the blue. And now I'm going to use a different shade of green. Alright, so I think I'm done with the green. I like the way it looks. I like how it works with the blue. Now I'm going to add some orange to the people and start layering that color. I'm going to stick with orange watercolor. I'm not going to go to acrylic just yet. So I've added the orange watercolor. Now I'm going to come in with the pink glaze. And the glaze is just a watered down acrylic. That way you can see the orange underneath and it doesn't completely wipe it out. And then after that, we'll see what I decide from there. I don't think adding that yellow glaze was a great idea. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So I think now I'm going to go in with like a yellow ochre glaze. See what that does. So I added yellow ochre and I didn't like it either. So I think I'm going to go with the orange wash and see what that does. So I just added the orange and I love the way it looks. Matisse was onto something when he used orange, obviously, but I was trying to avoid it. And I like there's a difference in how bright or dull the orange is based on what's underneath. And that's why I love to layer the color, because it creates a story with every layer added. So now we're going to add the hair, which I'm going to do like a burnt sienna and a little bit of a rose red and like parts that should have a shadow. So I am finally done and I really like the way it turned out. Obviously I did some minor changes so it didn't look like a replica. I wanted to make it my own and I did it in the way I applied the paint. Actually, even just the medium and what it's on is different. But I do like it. So, like I said, Matisse's original, let me put the original here, was painted in 1909. But while I was painting this, I thought, wow, this looks or reminds me a lot of, I'm going to say it in Spanish, so I don't know how to say it in French, Las Señoritas de Avignon, painted by Pablo Picasso. So I said, I need to look up to see who painted what first. So I went to the interweb, and then I would search Pablo Picasso, Las Señoritas de Avignon, and that one was painted in 1907. So Matisse and Pablo Picasso, you know, bounced ideas off of each other and such. So it's very much possible that Matisse was inspired by that painting of Picasso's to paint this one, La Danse, in 1909. And then now my version in 2021. But if you know, and if you've been to this channel before, you know that my favorite part out of all this process is taking off the tape. This just does it for me. It looks like she's hunchbacked. Look how cool this white crisp line looks. Oh, I ripped off the paper. I think it also needs to be framed, so I'll be right back. So this was not an easy task. I'm sweating all over trying to get this in here. I cut my finger cleaning the glass. I think this frame is already loose. So after I cut my finger, I'm really squeamish, and when I see my blood, it's like all over for me. So the glass ain't even clean. The intent was made. I do think that a frame would help in this sense, since it's, you know, watercolor paper. This frame was my enemy today. The glass is really sharp. I was so scared to break it, and then I don't know, it was nerve-wracking. But anyway, it's done. I like it, even though I'm worried about my finger. But tell me what you thought about it. Suggest what I should do next. And that's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe and activate those notifications. And that's it for now. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can look at it closer. So if you see any smudges, it's the glass that's not clean. But my finger's whole, and that's good. There we go. Be a little bit closer. And there it is, La Danse by Ramon Carrasco. Tell me what you think in the comments. That line you see right there, it's a blind in the background. It's reflecting on the glass. Well, this is supposed to be museum grade glass, which is supposed to cause less reflection. And that's it. Until next time.